Alright? I'd like to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kwadash. Alright, we are the men of Great Millstone, Trinidad, come out here tonight, to do a little bit of the inspiration of Yahweh, Yahushai. Alright, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace, love, salutation unto the ark around the four corners of this world that come out, that spread this word in sincerity and in truth. Alright, the topic tonight is humility. Alright, the first precept is
because how I say this now, what brothers had to be working on in these last days is cleansing the self. Alright? Brothers had to purify the self. Alright? Because the scriptures say, wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way by taking heed thereto according to thy word. And Yahushai said he come in the volume of the book. So if Yahushai was humble, then we also had to be humble. We had to follow after his lifestyle. We can't be proud in this thing. Alright? Because scripture says the Most High resisted the proud. Right? Brother?
is Colossians chapter 3 and verse 12. Colossians 3 verse 12. It says, put on therefore as the elect of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, holy and beloved, bowels of mercies, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long suffering.
Yeah. So if we are the elect of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, then we have to put on humbleness of mind and meekness. We can't be proud. Alright? We can't lift up ourselves. We can't exalt ourselves. The only person who could do that is the Most High. Now read this real quick. This is Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 33 verse 10. It says, nor will I rise, said Yahweh, nor will I be exalted, nor will I lift up myself. So now the only person that can exalt himself and lift up himself is the Most High, Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai. Hence the reason he from above and we from below. That is why he made us of clay, of humus, because you look up the word humus, it means to be humble. Alright, the word humus means to be humble. Alright? So we had to be humbled. We had to be lowly. We can't be proud in this thing because the scripture says, with knowledge puffeth up. Now the knowledge could get to the head and actually puff us up. Alright? And we might even notice. So therefore we had to be one of those keeper. You could tell our brother, hey, I realize it, you're getting a little proud. So if you could work on it, guess what? You're going to be for your own benefit. And you're supposed to say Tawara. But if you say, nah, I mean proud, then guess what? Really and truly, you are proud. Because before you examine yourself, you can examine yourself. You're best said to examine yourself. But when you examine it, you might only see the front of your garment. You can't see your back. Somebody else had to tell you about your back. So therefore, that brother could be wrong, but guess what? It will be good to still examine yourself. Alright? Good.
Is Sirach chapter 10 verse 7. It says, pride is hateful before Yahweh and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity.
Yeah, so the Most High hate pride, and man hate pride. Alright? The Most High don't like the views, he reject the proud. Alright? Because we save through hope. Does the scripture say that no man should boast? Alright? The scripture said that. Alright, it's boom 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 boom. Read from the limit.
And in verse 13 it says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. It says the Lord had cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead.
Yes, so the scripture says he set up the meek in their stead. The scripture said, the greater thou art, the more humble thyself. Now if you are a proud man, guess what? The Most High will just get rid of you and put somebody else that actually humble before him. Just like Moses. Moses was a humble man before the Lord. The Most High looking for nobody to be puffed up. For a man to say, well, hey, I get all this knowledge. No, I better than the apostles. Guess what? You didn't wake yourself up. So it had nothing to be proud about. And for a man to be designed the seat of somebody that the Most High set up over them, guess what? That is pride. So you need to examine yourself. Alright? You might be out there on the highways and byways teaching. And you know, and somebody might be coming sincere to learn, but because of your pride, you actually look past that and you just start to mock and scoff at them. And that is pride. Before you be apt to teach. Now if you see somebody coming after the first and second admonition, you reject, and if you see them coming and you say, hey, you just bugged out. The Most High dealing with you. But you, before that, you actually took the time to teach them. But if you're mocking and you're scoffing before you take the time to teach them, then guess what? Then that is considered, that is being proud. Alright?
It's in verse 18 it says, pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of a woman. In verse 21 it says, the fear of the Lord goeth before the obtaining of authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. So the scripture is saying that the fear of the Lord goeth before obtaining authority, but roughness and pride is the losing thereof. All these scriptures basically showing you is that when you have pride, you will be brought down. You understand? The Most High don't deal with the proud. When you're proud, the Most High go kick you out, alright, or replace you, as the scripture say, with someone that is meek. He will lift up the meek.
This is Isaiah chapter 2 verse 11. It says, the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down.
Yeah, read Isaiah 13:11. Right? So the Lord said the lofty looks of men shall be bowed down. So in that day, the Most High gonna get rid of the proud. One thing you notice, like we was working in this residential area today, and you notice that everybody, you know, because they live in that area, they have a little bit of money, but everybody have this puffed up way about them. Especially the women, they nose up in the air. Alright, so they thinking that they're better than everybody else. But guess what? It have no rich or poor in the grave. Scripture say all go on to one place. The only thing that gonna matter is righteousness before the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that is what we had to work on. We had to work on humbling ourselves before the Lord. Alright?
Good. This is Psalm chapter 37 and 16. It says, a little that a righteous man had is better than the riches of many wicked.
The little righteousness we have. Alright? You got a little righteousness that you have. You actually, try your best to be humble. You might not have the best knowledge or the most knowledge to break down scripture, break down prophecies, whatever the case is. But hey, just holding signs and you do that to the best of your ability. And not making a problem out here because the camp, the apostles tell it to hold sign. And you magnify your office. Guess what? That is actually being humble, because all the priests didn't have the same office. Some had the office just to take down the curtains and put them back up. And they didn't have a problem with that. They magnified the office, so we had to magnify our office too. But role the Most High give us, we go with that. Those seek things that are too high for you. Alright? Well, why this brother had to speak? Why I can't speak? Guess what? Because it wasn't appointed to you to speak. Probably you might speak and say something that totally contrary to the scriptures. So when it's the time to speak, then the Most High will pay to speak. But humble yourself first. And let the Most High exalt you in due time. Alright? Go down, read Isaiah 13.
This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 11. And I will punish the world for the evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the trouble.
Yeah, so the terrible, so the Most High gonna
So-
bring all the proud to the ground, because guess what? When the economy collapse and the money ain't no good, then wait, what's that here having down there? No, you might take the chip, you might take the microchip, which is the R, which is the mark of the beast. But then when that failure, because the scripture say once you trust in Egypt, it's gonna be a broken reed that pierce in your hand. When that failure, what you gonna do in the day of the Lord? With your pride gonna do you in that day, it ain't gonna do you no good. Now even for people who contrary towards the truth, not taking heed to consider the scriptures that are being taught, that is being proud too. That is being proud. Alright? Being proud by not taking heed to what the apostles saying and saying, nah, because the scriptures in Church of Berea, search the scriptures daily to see if those things were so. Understand first before you rebuke. Alright? Sometimes you might not be in the right. So it's good to consider all things. The Most High raising us up to be judges. Alright, like especially you men like IUIC, GOCC. Alright, you talk shit about GMS, but you ever try to read the scripture and try to understand it without your shepherd is telling that you have mermaids and that you don't need to know the Lord's name? Will it have scripture showing you contrary to where you've been taught? But before you come against the apostles, then consider the things that you're reading and consider the things that you're being taught. Then you wouldn't be so proud. Because pride comes from all angles. Pride could come by you saying that I am clean. And I perfect before the Lord. That is pride. Because we don't know. With the hope that we clean so that the Lord will accept us in that day. Alright? Give me 2 Corinthians 12.
It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 6. For though I would desire the glory, I shall not be a fool.
Yeah, so Paul said he ain't gonna be a fool. Go ahead.
For I will say the truth, but now I forbear, lest any man should think of me above that which he seeth me to be, or that he had heard of me.
Go ahead.
Verse 7.
So
And-
Paul didn't want to be lifted up. Paul wanted to be just a normal man, humble man. Alright, go ahead.
And lest I should be exalted above measure through the abundance of the revelations.
Yeah, so knowledge could puff you up because you realize the Most High giving you, all these breakdowns. They get proud. Look at Apostle Taha. Apostle Taha have all them breakdowns that the Most High revealed to him, and he's a humble man. Alright, I mean, I never met the apostle face to face, but from encounters that other brothers had, they said, hey, the apostle is a very humble man. And he's the greatest man in Israel right now. And knowledge never puffed him up. Alright, knowledge never puffed him up. If knowledge puffed him up, you can say, hey, I'm the apostle, I don't need to teach. Let the other, the guys under me teach. But now, Apostle Taha always put videos out. Because he's doing the Lord's work. That is being humble, not thinking of himself too much. More than most I pray to me. Alright, go ahead.
There was given to me a throne in the flesh, the measure,
Thorn in the flesh, go ahead.
the thorn in the flesh, Salakia,
Messenger.
the messenger of Satan to buffet me, lest I should be exalted above measure. Verse 8. For this thing I besought the Lord, tries that it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient, Salakia, for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
Yeah, because so we have necessities. So now if you have necessities, then guess what? You can't be proud. Because the scripture said, I believe it's in Psalms 40, if I'm not mistaken, that the Lord said, or Psalms 50. See if I could find it really quick. Psalms 50 verse 12. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine and the fullness thereof. So the Most High don't have need of us to do nothing. But we need the Most High. So then therefore we can't be proud. Because it have somebody above us that giving us everything that we have, so we could never be proud about nothing, or we actually is grateful that we receive it. Right, Glenn?
Most gladly, therefore, will I render glory in my infirmities, that
Yeah, because the scripture said, whosoever is with chastening, that the Most High receive it as a son. So Paul saying, I glory in my infirmities because I realize the Most High dealing with me. So I glory in this, that the Lord can give me the ability to go out and preach His word. Right? Go ahead. And that is suffering the cross of Yahushua. Go ahead.
the power of Mashiach will rest upon me.
Right.
Verse 10.
Go ahead.
Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in
Yeah, even bowing down to help our brother, when our brother in infirmities. Alright? That is being humble. Alright, you'll give me the Philippians after. Alright, that is being humble. Helping out our brother. Now you say, nah, you deal with it on your own. That is not being humble, because guess what? Each one of us gonna go through infirmities. So then therefore our brother going through infirmities and they help that brother, that is actually showing that take care for the flock of the Lord. Alright? Because pride could come in so many angles that you don't even realize that you're proud. Alright, so we need to examine ourselves before that day and get rid of pride. Alright, go ahead.
in necessities, in persecution, in the stress of Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong.
Yeah, he's strong in the house. Right? Well,
This is Philippians chapter 2 verse 3. It says, let nothing be done to strife or vain glory.
yeah, so don't let nothing be done to strife or vain glory. So now if you're helping that brother, don't do it just because somebody could say, hey, yeah, this brother always helping, boy, this brother. Don't do it just because we're seeking praise of men. Alright? Don't do it of a sincere heart, because it within you genuinely to help that brother, and not because you're looking for that brother to praise you before men. Yeah, the scripture did say let other men praise you, but don't do it just because you're gonna get it praise. Because if you wasn't gonna get it praise, then what? You wouldn't do it? You might make an excuse. Go ahead.
It says, but in lowliness of mind,
Loneliness of mind. Go ahead. You're not thinking about yourself when you're doing it, when you're helping somebody. You're doing it all for the goodness of your heart, because the Most High gave you strength to do it. Go ahead.
it says, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem another better than themselves.
Yeah, and that is being humble. You're looking at a man greater than you. Alright? You're actually putting a brother before you. That is being humble. Not beating the chest like a gorilla. I'm the man now. Yahweh Shah is the man. And we just his foot soldiers. Alright? Go ahead.
It says, verse 4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of another.
Yeah, look on the things of another. So seek your brother's welfare. Alright? Don't just look to your own good. That could actually go back to being proud too. That you're so high and lifted up that you can't even take the time to see that your brothers, right or wrong, something wrong with them. You ain't taking the time to look down, to consider your brothers, because you ain't respect your brothers. Because the word respect means to look back. So you might be so proud that you ain't been a good shepherd that you're looking back to consider the flock that's following. Alright? Because you say, nah, these brothers are supposed to be at a certain level, they can look after themselves. Nah, we're supposed to be able to look after one another. Don't matter how long we're in this truth. Everybody has necessities. Everybody, what did Paul say? Strengthen my bowels also. Even the top brother could need a little comfort in at times. Alright? Go ahead.
There's Sirach 33 and verse 4. It says, O Lord, Yahweh, Father and power of my life, give me not a proud look, but turn away from thy servants always a haughty mind.
Can't turn away from thy servant a haughty mind. Understand? That is where the privilege most had to take pride away from us. Alright, where the pray from one another, for the most had to take pride away from us. Alright? Because Satan could come into your mind and plague your mind and you don't even know that you're going off, thinking that you're in the right. Alright? Go ahead. Is it? Give me the Jeremiah 9. Jeremiah 9:23.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. It says, Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches.
Yes, so don't glory in these things, because all these things the Most High give you. Go ahead. We have 14 minutes. Remaining. Go ahead.
Verse 24, it says, But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth.
Yeah, glory in that. Glory in the fact that the Most High take the time to wake you up to give you this knowledge. Glory in the fact that you're going to receive the hope of the chance of salvation. Because we're not in the chariots yet, so we really have none to glory about. More than the fact that the Most High reveal his name and his son's name to you and give you understanding of this word. Alright? This says Ecclesiastes 7 verse 17. Verse 16. It says, Be not righteous over much, neither make thyself over wise. Why shouldest thou destroy thyself? So don't puff up, don't put yourself on a pinnacle that you're not supposed to be, that the Most High didn't put you. Don't make yourself seem to the world by this super duper Israelite. Alright? Let me read this here real quick. This is Revelation chapter 3. Revelation chapter 3 verse 18. Instead of verse 17. It says, Because thou sayest, I am rich, and increase with goods, and have need of nothing, and knowest that thou art wretched, and miserable, and poor, and blind, and naked. So now you say, I good, I holy, I perfect, I clean before the Lord. Alright? So I don't need nobody to tell me that I'm proud, or I'm not proud. I don't need nobody to tell me that, because I know I good. Nah, that is being proud. Alright? And the Most I said again, realize that you're going off. Verse 18, I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thy eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So when you pray for the Most High to cleanse it, then the Most High will open up your eyes, and you're going to realize all the ways they've been going off. The scripture says, reveal unto me my hidden sins, basically. Alright? That is humbling yourself, asking the Lord to reveal to your iniquities, not saying, nah, I good. Alright? Not like the Pharisee that's saying, hey, thank thee that thou hast not made me like other men. Nah, pray and say, Lord, I know I'm wicked, just help me to be good. Cleanse me from my sins, reveal to me what I'm going off with so I can better it. Don't say, nah, I'm good. That is when you're going off.
That same scripture was reading, that was for the Laodiceans. Right? And what happened was the Most High saying all them things was to humble the Laodiceans too, because what the Laodiceans used to make eye salve. You understand? So they took pride in what they used to make, and they used to think that they had the precious inventions and things like eye salve and them things. So the Most High telling them, come and get the real eye salve. You understand? In Revelation 3.
Well, we don't have much more time, so let me close off with the 1 Corinthians 11:28.
It's 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 28. It says, But let a man esteem himself, and so let him eat of that bread, and drink of that cup.
Go ahead.
For he that eat and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself.
Yeah. So basically, Lord said, let him man examine himself. Alright, so you have to examine yourself. That when you're eating this bread, means you're being partakers of the body of your house shine. You have to examine yourself. Because if you be in this troop and you're proud as hell and you're not examining yourself, guess what? You're eating unworthily. You're playing around with your house shine body. Alright, go ahead.
Not to say, not discerning Yahweh's body.
Go ahead.
For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
Go ahead.
For if we would judge ourselves, you should not be judged.
Yeah, if we judge ourselves, we shall not be judged. You have to judge yourself to see whether you're being the truth, whether you're being the faith. And that is what the Lord wants us to do, to examine ourselves. Go ahead.
It says, but when we are judged, we are chastened of Yahweh, that we should not be condemned with the world.
All right, and that is what we are to do in this truth. We'll examine ourselves so that we wouldn't be partakers of the judgment of the wicked. All right, so we are to examine ourselves and judge ourselves, examine one another, so we can actually help each other. And though when our brother trying to correct or reproof it, don't buck up against it, because that is actually being proud. And you might think that is not being proud, you stand in fear, right? But guess what? That is actually being proud by rejecting reproof.
That come to my head. Man who say pay tithes, just keep Sabbath every.
Yeah, that is what I quote that the Pharisees say, "Oh Lord, thank you that thou was not made like honor men." You understand? And I think what the publican said, "Lord, forgive me, I'm a sinner." You understand? So the publican was the humble one. So the scripture said the publicans and the harlots going to the kingdom of heaven before you, because they didn't puff up themselves. Alright? So with that, hope it was edifying. I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai. Give double honors to the apostles of great mercy, do not rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. The Trinidad camp saying Shalom.
Shalom.